questions. And then also to, for anybody that watches this in the future is, always know that, that we've all been everywhere that you guys are, everything that you're feeling, that we've felt, and that sometimes that, because I know Danielle and Chris, they're kind of those, they're hard chargers, which is like to me, because that's the way I am, the no nonsense, because that's the way I grew up and work in the North Shore of Chicago. It was just, if you want to be a success, it's like, there's just no latitude for, if you want it, go and get it. And, that understand that doubt at first is, we've all been there. And that the one recommendation that I would always give is to say to ourselves, like, for instance, when you were just talking about the inviting, is to always ask yourself, as, for your coaches, is, okay, what do I want? Why do I want this? Because even at the beginning, I remember, like, when Josh Spencer was kind of giving me tips from, at first, and he was like, okay, so you need to be doing, your power fives and inviting 5 to 10 people and everything. But then he first asked me, what do you want? Like, is this something does this excite you? This is something that is going to get you to your goal. But I never stopped to ask you, is this something that you feel like when you wake up every day, do you really feel like that where those 5 people are going to come from, or are you just kind of yesing me? And I feel like a lot of times that we do that a lot with our team, and that that's understandable, because we want to please people and we don't want it to let people down. And that it's always important to know that we've been the yes people, and we don't want to let anybody down, but we also are all there to help you guys and say, all right, hey, guess what? This is all right. So we don't know where those 3 people are going to come from every day, or how we're going to invite. All right, let's do a little role playing. Okay. Where are you? What groups are you in? How are you inviting people in real life? Are you going online? A lot of times we kind of, we may tell people, but if we don't really speak to them, sometimes the traction doesn't happen at first. And it's important to know from day one that, that Danielle and Chris are as approachable as anybody, and that all we want to do is help you guys, help you guys succeed. And especially you guys that are on the call. I mean, that's like a huge attest. I mean, this is Memorial Day. On a Monday. There's always an excuse. That the majority of people will accept of why you couldn't make something happen. But the reward of saying yes, because it's not about you, because you've got greater goals for you and your family, and become somebody that that you've always had the ability to become, that's what makes it worth it. And you guys couldn't have 2 better leaders than Chris and Danielle.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was only 4, like I said, or if you guys have any questions.
Well, I know Jamie is on here. She is a brand new coach. She what did you sign up yesterday? 2 days ago. She just posted her new coach announcement tonight. I haven't even got to go comment on it, but she sent it to me before she did it. And then, of course, Jennifer Mullins is on here, and Jennifer has been a coach a couple months now, and she's striving to hit. She's emerald. She's striving to hit diamond, and she's on here right now. Jennifer, do you have any questions?
Last month was just hard, and I just got no after no, big 0 for Success Club. So it's just been hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already have people lined up that want to buy the fix that's on sale. So I don't know. I just felt discouraged.
Mm-hmm. When you say it's hard, how long have you been a coach?
Only 3 months.
3 months. Okay. So that's awesome. When you say hard, what is that? Does it feel like hard because you kind of set out to achieve a certain goal and it just isn't going as planned, and you're like, wow, this is harder than I thought? Or, yes. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the no, it did bother me at first, and now I understand, don't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten over being afraid of being told no.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if people weren't into like size being on sale, or if I approached it as trying to sell size.
Right.
I mean, what do you think, Danielle? Like,
well, I mean, I usually never go by whatever the sell is. I mean, I will promote it, but I only typically promote most of what I do. So the fact that Max 30 was on sale this month was like, because I talk about it all the time. But I talk to people more. So I ask more questions. I don't always, at the beginning, I always recommended 21-day fix because that's what I did. I loved it. I liked the nutritional plan. But now I talk to people more and I find out what pairs up best for them. So if you were trying to sell me size because it's on sale, you're not going to get me with size because I don't really care for the dance stuff. Like I want Max 30, I want high intensity cardio, I want weightlifting. So I think if you're only focusing on what's for sale, and you're not asking questions, then you're not focusing on the person and what their needs are. So like Jason said earlier, it's more about listening to people and finding out, what are their goals? What are they struggling with? What is their fitness ability? What are their obstacles? Do they have any problems? What do they enjoy doing the most? Do they like cardio? Do they hate cardio? If they hate cardio, you're not going to be like, you want to do Max 30, it's $140 this month. They're going to hate that program. So, and then if they're a guy, I've learned also to talk a little bit more about the performance line, because some guys are like, I don't really want to do Shakeology, but I would love to get a pre-workout and have muscle recovery. And so I learned, even when I was talking to people, to even talk a little bit more about, well, what is their needs? Do they need Shakeology? I mean, personally, I feel like they all need Shakeology, but sometimes they may want to start with that performance line instead. So I think it's asking more questions, and who cares what's on sale? If it's on sale, great. And if they say, well, I love to dance, or I love Zumba, or, I don't really like to work out, I want to do something fun, then you would recommend that. And then you'd say, but the cool thing is that it's also on sale this month. But you wouldn't want to lead with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting is that, Jen, is that the coach that you are now, or even Jamie, the coach that you are now is going to be dramatically different than who you are and the way that people see you a year from now and 2 years from now. It's the coaches that a year from now they're the same are the ones that don't have success in anything, and it just doesn't work for them. And so by that I mean, when you first, like, you've been a coach for 3 months, is that number one, that hard is, that's totally normal, because yes, you can say you got to get more no's than yeses, but people come from different backgrounds. So some people come from a sales background where, like, they really they know how to ask questions, how to really find out people's needs and detach emotion from it. Unfortunately, we live in an emotional business where we actually really want to help people. Like, we care, but at the same time, like, we have to tie in our own goals. And what's going to happen is there's going to be times where you're going to push products and you don't want to. There's going to be times where you'll, like, totally mess things up and you're like, God, what did I do? Did I say this too much? And that's what's going to happen. And that's why we always say that it's about just kind of getting out there, and also accepting vulnerability. That's a huge thing, because we live in, like, a really noisy world, a really noisy social media world. And what do we see more than anything? We see people trying to be experts in day one. We see people trying to be somebody that they're not. And the way that people trust each other is by, number one, by leading by examples. That's your non-negotiable, right? That's actually, building belief in what it is that Beachbody is. So that's like your That's kind of like your non-negotiable. So I'm building my belief in the product. I'm learning about everything from Derm Exclusive to the boost to over time. I'm doing that. And I'm listening to the wake-up calls because that's helping me build belief in what I do. And then from there, so that's kind of like all the subconscious things, because the more and more that you speak to people, and this is for Jen and Jamie, that over time, the more that you speak to people, your belief will come from the tone of your voice. It's not even in words you can say. It just happens. So it's not like a script or anything. It just happens because you have so much belief. And so that when you end up pushing something more because you just have so much belief in it, it just rolls off your shoulders eventually, because you buy into it so much because you really believe that this can help somebody a lot of times more than they believe. And our job is to ask the right questions to match our belief with their belief. We have to lift their belief, because remember, everybody, we live in a world where people are just skeptical and people doubt, and that's just the way it is. And I think that you're doing everything right in the fact that when you're like, this is hard. Yeah, it's hard. It's being hard is never an excuse for the fact that you still got to do it. And the fact that you got to push harder and harder. And I think the instinct is we hit hard and we stop, or we hit hard. And so then we ask ourselves, okay, when we hit hard, are we now frustrated because we don't really know what steps we were taking? Or did we hit hard and we had a goal and we didn't hit that goal? Well, that's different, because goals are not meant to be hit all the time. Okay. I mean, I hit stretch goals. I rarely hit my goals. Goals are meant so that you can go back and find the proven steps that you need to do to hit that goal, so that you can go back and measure it. And those are things that what we do in our day job, that's done for us every day if you're an employee. But when you're creating your own path, we're the ones that kind of have to kind of create that. So I think that when you have your so for instance, Jen, was your goal Success Club 5 this month, or what was your goal?
I try to always do 5 and above. I think like my first month I think it was 18, and then like little by little it's gone down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then last month I hit 6, I believe. Okay.
So now here's a question for you. And this is what I would say. I had this question actually with a new coach of mine last month. So if you have Success Club 18 in that first month, but I'm a brand new coach, let's say, I would ask myself, and this is in retrospect, and remember, if you look back and say, I didn't do all those things, you can get frustrated for about 1 second, but then say, okay, I definitely want to make sure that when my coaches hit Success Club 18, that I'm telling them this story so that this doesn't happen to them. And something like, okay, every one of those, so let's say you've got 9 new people that are starting their journey. Okay, have I given them so much value that at one point that they know what their goals are, they're enjoying their Shakeology, they're enjoying whatever it is that they're interested in, that I've reached out to every one of them and I've said, okay, am I giving them the value? Is there anybody in their life that they think may also benefit in some way from what we do? Whether it's a free challenge, whether it's a Beachbody challenge, whether it's Shakeology Boost, whether it's just a vitamin, whatever it is. Because every single person I know can think of at least one person that could benefit from what it is. But if they just purchase the challenge pack and they don't see the value in those first 2 weeks, and the fact that it's not just you who's brand new, but it's this whole family of people that support each other, then they're not going to recommend. They're going to think it's just a transaction. And so the way to leverage your Success Club is every single person realize is this amazing opportunity and this own like ecosystem of opportunity. And it's my job to give them so much value. And if I don't know how to do that, then I'm going to connect them with my upline and make sure that I know exactly how do I tap into all this value? How do I look at all the free, amazing value that's in teambeachbody.com? How amazing is Beachbody On Demand, is the new bodyboard, or whatever it is? What are all the things? And so as a brand new coach, you're not expected to know that. You just know what your own challenge is, right? These are things that over the months that builds your belief, and it makes you a very credible coach, so that no matter what, you're building a lot of front end value. And that's why when you've got leaders like Danielle and Chris, that's how a brand new coach can have ridiculous success at the beginning, because it's not just you. The first 30 days is that training wheel. And then from there, it's about building on that. So ask yourself, okay, so it's hard. Was I hitting a stumbling block with my warm market, with my new people? Am I finding new people? Do people see me as a credible? I've been doing this for 90 days. Am I any different of a person besides just losing 20 pounds? Is the personal development that I'm reading, am I getting anything out of it? Even if it's just like those YouTube videos of that motivation, where like there's that one person that read that quote or whatever and said, man, I really needed this today. Or that one person that you text message some motivational quote. And from there, it kind of builds from there. But also, it's very important from day one, and this is especially important for Jamie also, is that you're very honest with people, and let people know that you're brand new. Let people know, hey, I may totally mess this up. I'm totally brand new. I'm going to, we're kind of like this family. I became this coach because of this. And I just thought maybe, I'm kind of just trying to get some people that I care about to see if maybe, they want to get involved in something to get themselves a little bit healthier or whatever. It's been something I'm really excited about, and I thought I'd reach out to you. And if they say no, saying, hey, listen, that's great. Is there anything that I could have done differently? Is there something that's kind of stopping you? And maybe there isn't. And then say, is it okay if I kind of, in about 30 days or whatever, if I kind of reach back around and kind of we touch base again? Because that's also what this is about. I don't know if that helped a lot, but that's kind of like the thought process that I give to people that kind of hit those roadblocks, especially for somebody like you, where you hit Success Club 18. I mean, that first month, that's amazing.
And I want to add to that, even like with Jamie being brand new, I know when I signed up, I hadn't, I don't know if you guys, I think I was just in training. The first group was PIO. I didn't even have PIO yet, but we were promoting it because it was a new program. And the girl that I work with, I told her, hey, we're doing a challenge group. I don't really know a lot about it, but this is what I'm doing. This is what I've done so far. I really like it. You want to check it out. Totally didn't know what I was talking about. And she's my friend, and we work together. So she's like, okay, yeah, sure. What is it? And so I explained things, and she's like, oh, okay, all right, I guess I'll do it. And because when people are in your warm market and they trust you, it's very easy to just tell them, this is what I'm doing. I don't know a lot about it, but you want to do it with me? And she said yes. And so I just seen her a week ago, and Jason knows who this is. It's Ashley Schuler. And she's 110 pounds. When she did this with me 2 years ago, she was 23. She's 25 now and 110 pounds less. And that's just from me being like, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, but you want to do this group with me? And she did it. She was the challenge group winner. I think her first 60 days, she lost like 30 pounds. And, it's just moments like that as a new coach that even if you don't leave your job or you become this huge success or you want to even strive for that, if even for a second you can touch the life of somebody that young, just by simply saying, you want to do this? And even like Chris's aunt, who, she was very hesitant, seeing all the infomercials. I'm really hesitant, but she trusted us because we're family. And she's like, okay, I'll give it a try, but I don't know. I don't really like to work out at home. And she gave us a boatload of excuses. And showed us all these other shakes she was taking and was trying to compare. And at that time, I didn't know how to compare. I was just like, this is what we're taking. We like it. Try it. So she did. And she's also lost over 100 pounds, and she's in her 50s. And now she's a coach. And she has a challenger in our group that she works with she's also helped her lose. I think she's at like 30 pounds now. So it's just like that snowball of, just having a few people. Like you don't have to be like me and hit over 20 Success Club points a month in order for this to be important to you and change your life, or make you feel better about yourself or what you're doing. You don't have to have that. But if you can like have that one person that is close to you, that's when it makes the biggest difference. And that's when you become a better coach, because it hits you right here. It makes you feel better about yourself. And again, that's personal development. By simply being able to help somebody else, it changes you mentally. And it makes you more passionate about it. It makes you a better coach.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. And that's exactly it. Yeah. I don't know if that did that would help what Danielle and I said, Jen?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And realize that no matter what, even if you think that everything is going right, it's like, this is a fun game of life. I mean, and just like Danielle said, the ability to, to change the direction of a coworker's life at 23 years old, again, and I see that as something. Obviously, close your eyes and imagine that, her at 25 looking in that mirror and who she is now, where, I see somebody that's a lot deeper than just somebody that is fitting into, size 6 or 4G, whatever it is that she's fitting into now, so to speak. I see somebody that the belief that she has, this girl is going to accomplish anything she wants now because of the fact that she did this. That's what the Beachbody Challenge is all about. That's why we are so passionate about setting people up for success, because we know that when people win that $500, that $1,000, whatever it is, when they complete that 60-day challenge, that 90-day challenge, whatever it is, past all their excuses of all their friends telling them they can't do it, of all the other times they've started and stopped things in their life, of all the crap they get from their boss, whatever, this one thing that they've got control of, that they can not only rock out, but they can just destroy and prove everybody wrong and prove themselves that they can do it. That belief is something that changes the direction of your life. And that's something that it becomes an addiction to want to have other people experience that so much that it makes sense that other people can almost get turned off by it, even because you get so addicted to, like, I want this for people, right? And that's a good thing. You're going to hit this, like, you're going to massage into this, this happy medium. But I know that, that's when you know that you've really, I always say that that's when you know you've hit your point, your stride, when you start to, like, people are like, geez, like, wow, all right, like, you're really into this. That's when you know that you're in, when you build that belief and you're like, okay, now I really got to start to, now I'm ready to help people. And you're going to hit that, when you hit that stride, that's when it's, it just changes all directions of your life. Because helping people really develop from the inside and out, that mind-body connection, is, you just don't see it in anything else. And I think that's what's amazing. And all we do is provide shortcuts. That's what it is. We know we're going to be fighting things in all aspects of our life. That's what Shakeology is. It's dense nutrition. It's superfoods that are from all over the world. I highly recommend, from inside and out, learn the history of Darren O'Lean, learn the history of Shakeology, of where every single one of those superfood comes from. Why is it that when you go to China or Peru, or how it's dehydrated at a certain temperature and then ground down a certain way to maintain its potency? I mean, when you start to kind of understand, like, how amazing that is, and why you feel that way, and why having, being able to get this accomplishment of an exercise in 22 minutes or 30 minutes and say, boom, I did this. And then at the same time at your fingertips, knowing that you're not alone. I mean, that's that's what allows you to stay on track. You really become addicted to understanding what that true circle is. So,
Definitely.
sorry, I get on my soapbox.
No. That's why you're here.
Do you guys have any other questions? Oh, look at a cute doggy.
She joined the party.
Oh.
What kind of dog is it?
It's an Australian Shepherd.
Oh, hi.
Oh, little girl.
Where's
Hello.
Fiona?
Fiona's in the other room,
Oh.
probably almost sleeping.
Where's Mommy?
So,
Lucy is asleep in bed with Reese, our little Yorkie. So, yeah.
That's cute.
Yes, it's so sweet. All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on, Jason. We really appreciate it.
Definitely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, thanks for everybody else, Jennifer and Jamie getting back on. And I have recorded both of these, so I'll post to the YouTube tomorrow. So
Cool. Awesome.
All right. Happy Memorial Day.
yeah.
Yes.
Good
You
night,
too.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Hi.